Hello. Hello. I don't know if that was happened twice because it never came up. Aha! Hello and welcome to the Arn and Eddie Euro experience. We are into whatever day it is. We're just still going. Um, it's the knockout stages again. It's day 2 of the knockout stages. There we go. That worked.
Yes.
Um,
Day 43 of the Euros.
Day 45. We're still stuck in, and no one's giving us any food. No, we're in day 2 of the knockout stages of the Euros. I'm Eddie Sideburns. Joining me again is Arn Furious as always.
Hi.
If he wasn't joining me, this show would be called something different. Right,
It would just be the Eddie experience, wouldn't it?
No one wants to see that. No one wants to see that at all.
Everyone wants
Right.
that.
So, we're going to talk about again the 2 knockouts that came. We're going to talk about Belgium versus Portugal, and Netherlands versus the Czech Republic. Arn, which one do you want to go with first?
Well, we'll go with recency. We'll talk about Belgium and Portugal.
Fire away.
Okay.
What was your thoughts?
This was a terrible game for about 40 minutes. Like absolutely god awful. Both teams scared to attack. Didn't want to commit players to go forwards. You looked at when they were defending, especially. You had Portugal just sitting with like a line of 5 and then a line of 4, and then Ronaldo was over there somewhere, and there was just no pressure on any of the defenders, and it took a sensational strike from Thorgan Hazard to really wake the game up. But when that goal did go in, then it was a completely different story, which kind of makes you wonder why this Portuguese team couldn't attack in the first place, because they've done it in pretty much every game I've seen them in.
There was one good Hazard. It was Thorgan. Eden, you said, was Eden Hazard played all right for the moment.
Today he was good. So in the group game that he played in, he basically wasn't.
Here we go. Here he is.
Yeah. I've been saying that for a while. Like he's way too negative. The team that won the Euros, thing is, he's stuck in the mentality of the team that won the Euros, thinking that they can defend, and then just use Ronaldo and score. Whereas this is a completely different squad to the one that they had at the last Euros. It's a far better team. That he's got way too many options in there to sit and defend for the whole game. So yeah, that's what happened. Anyway, yeah, Eden Hazard, he was bad.
Sorry.
In the
1 second. Torgan. Sorry, Domi. Torgan. Right, carry on.
Okay. Eden Hazard. So in the group game, he looked really leggy, he looked really slow and tired, and he looked like he wasn't capable of doing anything. And when I saw the team sheets for today, I said, well, they're playing with 10 because he's going to be a passenger. Didn't happen. He looked lively. He was taking players on. He was attack-minded. Like in the group game, the ball would come to him and he'd hold it a little bit and then he'd kind of lay it off. And he didn't look like he was looking forward for anything. He was happy to get a touch of the ball, but then he didn't want to hold on to it. He looked like doing things in this game, and he had some lovely little touches. He didn't last the 90. I still think he's struggling for fitness, but there were flashes of genius in there. And I'm not going to say it made a difference for them going forwards, because I think that was Lukaku. But yeah, he had a good game.
He must be putting himself in the shop window again, because obviously it looks like his career at Real is pretty much all but over.
You never can tell with Real Madrid. You never can tell. They've got no money, apparently.
One minute they love you, the next minute they're I don't like you anymore. Belgium starting Alderweireld, Vertonghen, and Vermaelen.
I thought that was a terrible idea, but as it turns out, the way that Portugal played into Belgium's hands, because they didn't really look to go past them. They didn't look to play them in behind at all, and there was no real threat.
Yeah.
So they had 3 players on the field to nullify the aerial presence of Cristiano Ronaldo, and that worked. So I guess we'll call it a success. Tactical mastermind that he is, Roberto Martinez.
Yeah, the goal was sensational from Torgan Hazard. I thought that, as you said at the end of the game, you've run here, sportsmanship did go out the window. Pepe was having a lot of nonsense going on.
There was a lot of
Which,
diving, which I'm not happy with at all. I know
mm,
when you're facing tournament exit down the barrel, you tend to stretch the rules a bit. But if
mhm.
they just turned up in the first place, they wouldn't have had to have done that. And they were trying to get Belgian players sent off by testing them, shall we
Yeah,
say. And it didn't work. The Belgians, for the most part, maintained their discipline. And they deserved to go through. Portugal, they tried really hard for the last 15 minutes.
mm.
But you
Well,
can't turn up for 15 minutes of a game and expect to go through.
there's the man, Ivan McGann. They never liked
Over them.
Hazard in Madrid since he turned up overweight. Let me tell you one day about the story of another man that me and Arn were discussing who turned up and went to Real Madrid and was massively overweight. God bless Antonio Cassano. But yeah, I think as say Pepe was being Pepe was being a very very nuisance and annoyance. I thought Portugal were trying to get a lot of the ball to Andre Silva. A lot of the balls are kind of going to him, and it was just kind of trying and trying, but every time just nothing seemed to kind of come of it.
Well, they made
Um,
some really aggressive substitutions in the second half, bringing on Bruno Fernandes, Joao Felix came on, and then later on Silva as well. So they had the options there to do things, but
mm,
why
nothing
not
came
do
of
it
it.
sooner? I mean,
Yeah,
when they needed to do something, it's too late.
yeah, and I
And
mean
they've been like that
the
all tournament. So
yeah, and De Bruyne coming off injured, is that I take it that would you say that's a worry, or is it just the
it's
horses?
concerning. Yeah, that was the tackle was the defensive midfielder from Sporting Lisbon, whose name escapes me, Palinha. He went through the back of him,
Yeah,
and I've seen referees give reds for that. He kind of got the ball, but he also kind of took his leg out. So, Palinha. I
there
got
we
it.
go.
I got there.
Yeah, you got it. So that happened. Did you expect this game to go the way? I think that we predict. Obviously, you predicted when we spoke.
I predicted a Belgian win. When I saw the team sheets, I was a little bit suspicious as to whether they'd actually be able to see it through. But they did, and it really is. It's basically on Fernando Santos for the team that he picked for this game and the way that they played from the off. I felt like Belgium's back line was there to be taken, and the fact that they had so many chances at the end of the game kind of proves me right on that one. It just wasn't good enough really from Portugal from the off.
Yeah, and I mean, next stop, they're off to take on Italy in Munich.
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult game for Belgium because you look at the back line for Belgium and you look at the problems they weren't caused by Portugal. Those are the problems that Italy will cause them.
Yeah,
They'll pull that back line around. They'll get in the channels. They'll get in behind them. They'll just pull them all over the place, and it's just
and this
I
is
can
where
see it. I can see Italy having a fun day.
the trouble, as I say, begins. For them, of course. So we'll need to see what happens. Ronaldo's goal scoring. Wow. Oh wow. Oh dear. I can see Giao is saying something in the comments. Andy Am, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna assume we'll find out.
Yeah, I didn't click on it because I didn't know what you were saying.
Just letting it say. And then we had our first upset of the
Yeah,
first upset. Would you call it of
I
the
I
knockout
would say
stages?
that is a pretty sizable upset. When I was talking yesterday about how defending will win you games and win you tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
the Netherlands, the only black mark against the Netherlands in the group stages is that defensively they weren't very good, and that kind of led me to believe that they weren't going to get to the final. But I felt that this side of the draw, there were games against teams that were beatable, so they probably should have got this. Okay.
Just come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Okay.
Carry on.
Yeah, I felt like the Czechs were not that great. The Netherlands could have scored in the first minute. They left Denzel Dumfries completely unmarked. And to me, that is almost criminal defending from the Czechs in the opening minute, because it's Dumfries. Like, he's been one of the standout attacking players for the Netherlands from right back throughout the tournament, and to let him just bomb into the box just completely unmarked was criminal. And it didn't end there. I thought that in the opening 20 minutes, it could have been gone for the Czechs. They were completely outplayed. But where they won this game was by changing the way that they played. Also because the Netherlands had a red card. But
which we'll discuss in the 27 seconds that changed this game on its head.
Yes, absolutely. But it felt like, as well, the Netherlands were playing smart football at the start. They had a higher footballing IQ, so they were doing sensible things. And you would see like a corner where they knew they weren't going to get a goal from it directly, because the Czechs are a very big team. They have a lot of defensive size. They have a lot of forward players who come back for set pieces who are tall. It looked very unlikely that a relatively short Dutch team was going to score a goal from a set piece. So they did smart things. So the first corner, they played it short and they kind of worked it around, and they had players set up on the edge of the box for the second phase. It was like everything that they were doing seemed to be designed to play to the opposition's weaknesses and their strengths. Yeah. And they just stopped doing it. I don't know if it was a kind of a desperation that sunk in, but it was about 20, 25 minutes into the game. They just started doing stupid things, and they never stopped. Yeah. And trying to get back into the game, they were continually doing dumb things. And it didn't really work until they brought Weghorst on, and they started pumping it long to him in the hopes that would do the job. But by that point, they were down to 10, and they had to kind of rely on a more direct style of play. Otherwise, they were just outmanned.
Yeah. And I think there was parts where, so we talk about the 27 seconds that changed the game. Malin needs to bury that every time. I think there's parts where he's worried that there's a foul being given, and that's why I'm maybe a little bit of how he stops. Delit with the handball. I was listening to the pundits after it, and they were saying, obviously, if it's a younger guy's going to do that, whereas an older defender is going to just make the mistake, let them score the goal, and then at least they've still got 11 men.
But he's still got to beat the goalkeeper, so it's not a guaranteed goal. It's just a guaranteed chance to score.
Yeah. Schick had another great game, another decent game with that goal. But it was checkmate for the Netherlands. Yes, got to use that house somehow.
Dear.
I know, got to list the issue one. Czech Republic. Question from Ivan: Will De Boer keep his job until the World Cup? They lost the qualifiers already. I think he's going to be very much hounded with everything that's gone on, especially.
He didn't even play the formation they wanted to play, that the players wanted to play, that the fans wanted to play. I think he's gonna be gone tomorrow, probably, or at least when the tournament is over, he'll be gone.
I mean, he changed the lineup of the way they played in the game beforehand. I think that was another tactical mistake. The formation they've played before, you didn't need to have, Malin. I think you could have still went with the players you had before. I think there was, and that's going to obviously affect them. I don't think De Boer keeps his job. I mean, who are they going to bring in? Are they going to try and get? They can't get Dick Advocat because he's retired. I don't think they'd get Koeman again.
Van Nistelrooy?
He was on. I was surprised to see him on.
It wouldn't surprise me. They have a habit of going to former players.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't surprise me at all. But then he was part of this coaching staff, which might count against him.
So Czech Republic go on to face Denmark in that quarterfinal. Do you think that is the end of the line for the Czech Republic? Does that
not necessarily
do something?
The Czechs are very organised. They're very disciplined, and once they got their act together after not starting great against the Dutch, I thought they did really well. In particular, they nullified the threats that had caused problems for other teams when they played against the Dutch. Gini Wijnaldum hardly had a kick in this game.
Oh yeah,
They,
Genie
they
Wijnaldum was completely taken out of this game. There was no need
yeah,
for him.
absolutely removed him from the play. I mean, Hollesh was a big part of that, and Hollesh was the guy who scored the opening goal.
Mm.
They just took him out of the game. I thought Frankie de Jong still played really well. He had a big effect on the Dutch from midfield, but Wijnaldum has been so effective for the Dutch in the group games. For him to be just taken out of the running like that, it just stunted them. I don't think Memphis Depay had a particularly good game. I think he blows hot and cold, and that wasn't hot.
Yeah.
And obviously Marlon Mr. Sitter. Dommy obviously agrees with me on the.
Yeah, rude for the Netherlands. A rude awakening for the Netherlands today after all this.
It was.
Oh God, I love my.
It is painful for the Dutch to have to come into this, because I really enjoyed the way that they played. I thought they were a really fun team to watch in the group stages, but this was a victory for pragmatism.
Yes, a victory for pragmatism and a winner for the Czechs. Some chic style of football played that unfortunately ended the Netherlands, and they went down yelling.
It wasn't a fantastically negative performance either from the Czechs.
No.
They were trying to get goals. It's just they knew they had limitations, and they just played to their strengths.
Yeah, and I say they ended up going down and yelling timber. Anyway, today showed again playing.
Yeah,
pretty wins you that word. Okay. Last thing we have on the sheet was there was a Formula One race.
Oh yeah, I forgot to remove that. It wasn't particularly interesting.
It's okay. Red Bull won. That's all we need to know. I'm sure Domi is just waiting to message Ollie or something and just remind him about the charts and stuff like that. We will be back tomorrow to talk about what games are tomorrow. I'd love to.
So tomorrow is Croatia versus Spain at 5:00.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to that one. It's going to be a real midfield battle, but not in the terms of like kicking each other to pieces. It will be like who can pass the ball better. So that should be interesting. And then France plays Switzerland. I don't think that is a foregone conclusion.
I think that one's going to be quite a very interesting one. I think France can. I think France.
I think they'll win. But
we'll just need to see.
Yeah. Switzerland have goals in them, and they've done it. They've beaten teams at big tournaments before.
They have. I say we will see you all tomorrow, 10:00. Unless the game goes into, unless the main game goes into extra time, which I don't know, we never see. Bob and Naff,
we didn't think Italy would, but.
Well, Italy just decided to take the long way around and just have a mess about for 90 minutes before actually deciding, oh, we need to play football here, lads. We will see you all tomorrow. And if you've not done so already, please like and subscribe. And we will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.